Oshio. Another gusty day. It was a nice day. And I hope your day went very well. You know, I was just thinking about some different things. And one thing I was sitting there thinking about how fascinating it is. If you take a little seed, a little teeny seed that ain't even big as a freckle, right? You plant it, days go by, nothing, and then all of a sudden, bingo, there's this little tiny, little small seedling. The next thing you know, days go by, it's growing, and next thing is a big old bush. Thing's huge. And, you know, and then next thing you know, you got all kinds of fruit or on it. You know, it just depends on the type of seed that you planted. But I find that it's fascinating. You know, and that little bit that you do, that little seed that you plant, that you think is nothing, that you plant for the Lord. It takes a little bit. You might not see nothing right off, but all of a sudden, bam, there's this sign. Small, but next thing you know, things growing. And it doesn't grow big overnight. It takes time. But also you gotta water it, and you know, you gotta break up the ground, aerate it, and all this kind of things, you know. You have to take care of it to get it to grow. So remember, when you're doing something for the Lord, it just don't get discouraged. It's easy to do. It's easier to get discouraged than it's easier then to be encouraged. You know, that's just the way it seems. But the thing is, the truth of the matter is, that little seed that you have planted might not seem like it's growing, but it's doing something. Okay? Don't forget about that. And one other thing about rebuking publicly. This is kind of a yeah and no. Alright, yes, it is biblical. No, it's not biblical. Like, huh? Okay. The simple thing is like this. Just remember this. Alright. The rebuking publicly is meant for the body of Christ. Now, like on YouTube, it's just a bunch of videos of... No, that's not the place to do it. Now, you know, if you had your local church or your assembly, whether it's out in the barn field, regular church building, a house, wherever. Alright, that's where the rebuking comes in, but it's not supposed to be done in a bad spirit, right? But like on YouTube, that's not the place to do it, okay? And like others have, did videos, and and I agree with them, is the fact that it should be done, how would you say, sent privately, in a video maybe sent privately, or a phone call, or something. But before you do any rebuking, find out where your spirit and your heart lies before you do, and then pray before you do. That would probably be a good suggestion. So think about those things. Alright, and you always, whenever you rebuke anybody privately, or if you're having, if you rebuke them biblically, and as far as publicly, to know where that public place is and what you're doing, you need to keep your wits about you and have wisdom, and watch what you're doing and be careful, and make sure you look at yourself before you do. There's a lot that can be said about it, and I just don't have the time on YouTube for it's like 10 minutes or so, you know, but there's a lot more to be said on that, but it's just something to think about, okay? But going back to what I was talking about, the seed, hey, just encourage, you know, yourself in the Lord, and encourage other brothers and sisters in the Lord, and understand that little seed that you planted, you probably even forgot that you planted it. But don't be discouraged. It'll grow. As long as you keep yourself in the right frame of mind and heart with the Lord and with others, okay? So, God bless you. Shalom. And ha-ho.